Hey everybody! I thought I would share my October 2016 Traveler's Notebook with you today. I know that it's January 2017. What can I say? I got a little bit behind. But I knuckled down one afternoon this past weekend and was able to finish up 3 months of my Traveler's Notebooks in just a couple of hours. I had started working on them during the month. So like this October one I started working on in October, but I hadn't finished. And the good news is it didn't take me long to wrap things up. And October was definitely a big month for me. Okay, so here we go. Like always, I started with the October sticker on the front. I added some washi tape, as well as one of the stickers and one of the puffy stickers that came in the monthly Cocoa Daisy kit. I also added just a few embellishments to the monthly calendar page. I never put much on this page. For this month, I marked Kelsey's wedding, my birthday, and just added a leaf because I thought that it was cute. I generally start out my Traveler's Notebook with a selfie. Well, this month I thought I would start off with a photo of my fall mantle, because I do like to change my mantle out for various seasons or months or holidays. And then I put my selfie over here on the right. It was one that I really liked, and I didn't plan this, but the dress that I have on matches the colors of the embellishments and really matches October, or what I think of October, very well. Here I wrote out several quotes, and this is something that I do almost every month as well. I get a lot of my quotes from things that I read online. There's a website I like in particular called brainpickings.org. And very inspirational. It talks a lot about books that people have written, and I really like it. So several of those came from there. I'll also grab something that I might read from a newspaper or a magazine. And then I started out with my monthly calendar. As you can see, October 1st was my daughter's wedding, so there is a section in this book about that. As far as the calendar pages go, this really is just the way that I kept my calendar. I don't add any embellishments other than the numbers for the dates. I cross things out. Sometimes I don't get it all done. I make mistakes in my handwriting, and that's okay because this was really my working calendar for the month. Here we start the actual, I guess, decoration for the Traveler's Notebook, and I started with just a picture of some pumpkins because I do love them. I think that their colors and the shapes and that sort of thing are really interesting to photograph. But an interesting side note is that I don't really like pumpkin flavored things, and I don't really like pumpkin scented things. I just like to look at them. Tracy and I went to Jackson's Orchard, which is a local orchard where you can pick your own apples and your pumpkins, and they sell jam, and they have all kinds of entertainment in the month of October. And we spent the day out there, which was really nice. Her daughter Caroline came with us this year. And so that was fun. I didn't do much here except add a couple of printed embellishments here and a little bit of a sticker there. My birthday was also this month, and the day before my birthday, my bestie Vonda and I celebrated by going to Nova Dolce, which is a kind of a European style bistro here in town. And I wrote a little bit about what we did there. She gave me a lovely gift that made me tear up and act all emotional in public, which is not something I like to do. But she had gotten me a gorgeous Pandora charm that had a photo of my beloved little louder dog in it. And I just was an emotional mess when she gave it to me. We've spent 23 years as best. Here are some photos from Kelsey's wedding. These are likely not photos that I will use in my personal album or in the album that I'm making for her, but I wanted to have some way to document her wedding in this monthly Traveler's Notebook. Here she is on the left, pictured with one of her bridesmaids, on the bottom walking down the aisle with her dad, and then the married kiss with Jake. Now I could use these again, but I wanted to use, this is going to sound funny, I wanted to use like not my favorites for my traveler's notebook because I do have other plans for my favorites. And again, a little sticker was all it took to add a little bit of embellishment to this page. I didn't want to do much. The day after the wedding, I went with my friends Lori and Junior to Handmade Harvest Vintage Fest, which was lots of fun. And I do plan to do a full-size layout about that experience. So I decided to just include the signage photo and a photo of them for the traveler's notebook. And you can see I added just a little puffy sticker embellishment there. I had a hard month that month, but not as difficult a month as Charlie Dog did. Unfortunately, I was taking care of my granddogs while Kelsey and her husband were on their honeymoon, and Frankie, the pit mix there, decided that he hated Charlie Dog enough that he tried to kill him in my living room. It was absolutely horrible, and I can't really go into detail of how I got them apart and stuff, but suffice it to say that he almost killed Charlie. We had to do the emergency vet that night, and then I ended up having to go to the emergency room myself, and it was really, really difficult, especially because I didn't want to tell Kelsey what had happened because I didn't want to ruin her honeymoon. So let's just say that that first week of October was this crazy roller coaster of highs and lows for me and my family. On my actual birthday, the fella took me out for dinner. It was a family affair. His little boy was with us, and I have to be honest, I did not have a good birthday. I was pretty down. My arm was hurting. I was worried to death about Charlie. I was worried sick about how I was going to tell Kelsey what had happened. It was really, really tough, and so I just journal about that a little bit here. I probably won't go into telling this whole big story in my regular albums, but I do think that the Traveler's Notebook gives me a chance to be maybe a little more honest, a little more raw in the reality of my life than just focusing on all the good things. It's not like I want to dwell on all the negative things, but I also want my memories to be real. Here I included a picture of my niece and me from Kelsey's wedding, and I talk a little bit about how awesome it is to get to know her as an adult. You know, I knew her as a little girl, and I just hadn't been around her a whole lot since my divorce, and we've reconnected with Kelsey's wedding, and so I'm really happy about that. Again, I just included a label and some puffy stickers and then the journaling. One of the things I love about the Traveler's Notebook is that you don't have to do a lot of embellishing in order to make pages that are still pretty special and attractive. A couple of weekends into October, the fella and I went to Bell Buckle, Tennessee for their big craft fair. It was everything that people had told me it was. We had a great time, but I will say next year I'll probably go by myself. It was not a place that a little kid should go because Luke was just bored out of his mind and let us know it at every opportunity. And I felt guilty that the fellow was just kind of tagging along and looking behind me. I felt like I couldn't really look as much as I wanted to, and so while, you know, I enjoy being with them, I don't think that a craft fair is probably the best place to take your significant other or a kid. I'd rather go by myself and just, you know, check things out at my own pace and not worry if I'm being too slow or too fast or, you know, am I being inconsiderate. I don't want to have to worry about that. But I have some awesome pictures from the craft fair. I don't know if I will scrapbook any of those really, but I want to keep them because I want to be able to reference them for my own craft projects. The end of the month, of course, is Halloween, and I didn't really have any Halloween plans except Tracy and I did this awesome video bonus cast for our listeners of the Scrap Gals podcast who had donated to our annual hosting fees via the internet, and so we dressed up. I dressed up as Madonna, and we taped about a half-hour show. Everybody who has donated and gotten the link absolutely loved it. They said it was just a riot, that we were hilarious. And it was definitely a stretch for me because that is not, you know, my comfort zone. It was definitely a stretch. But I'm glad I did it and I had a lot of fun. And now I have this awesome wig for any future dressing up that I might want to do. So there you have it. October was a pretty simple month when we talk about it in terms of embellishing and decorating my traveler's notebook. But it was not a simple month in terms of the trajectory of my life. There was a lot that happened, both wonderful and kind of rotten. So I'm thinking that it's probably like a lot of your months. Some things are awesome, some things are not so great, and some things are difficult. But I'm so glad that I documented it. That's the most important thing. All right, I'll be back with another video of my November 2016 Traveler's Notebook in a few days. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you liked it, leave me a little bit of love here on YouTube. Catch you later. Until then, go and be crafty.